Hello and welcome to Spring Commander Forge Alliance. We're on Loki, Calvarox versus Yama, Siren on Siren. Should be a good one, although a bit imbalanced. But of course, anything can happen. I'll focus on what Yama does. I actually think I'll watch it from his point of view. Maybe speed it up. I've been watching Zep Brannigan's casts. Been really enjoying them. I think we have a new Guile. Or actually maybe even better than Guy. Who knows? It seems like Zep really has the talent for this type of thing. So people should definitely check out his channel for a lot of Supreme Commander Forge Alliance entertainment. Yeah, his channel has grown pretty rapidly, but it would be nice to keep that growing. Let's see. Second air, the standard Yama. How many pigeons is he going with? 8. So sometimes people go a little lower on the pigeons, given the hydro is relatively close. Looks like it'll be a single engineer from Yama who's going to get that. Sometimes people skip this and go directly across the water to try to get a foothold in this corner as quick as possible. Another thing to look for on this map is where the ACU for Yama is going to go. That's critical. A lot of times people actually do go down here to try to take this bottom corner. From this bottom corner you can quite easily take this 3 mass extractor expansion as well. Sometimes of course people go directly through the middle with a big land spam, or instead of going around the back, come out here, and this allows a little more protection for these 3 mass extractors. So it depends how you want to get to those expansions. Looks like a couple more mass extract factories. Sorry, this mass extractor already going to Tech 2. That's interesting, and quite a bit of reclamation. So instead of getting the mass extractor, just a lot of manual reclaim, trying to keep from mass stalling. And quick scout from Calvarox. So it's quite impressive to be able to upgrade a mass extractor and build factories with an ACU. It's 15 build capacity right there. That's the work of this engineer. This is where taking out this engineer with a bomber or a light assault butt would have been great. And you can see the reclaims actually nearly 500 here. These 2 Manti protecting a very important unit. Some first scouting from Calvarox. And this is where one good thing about staying back at base for a long time with your ACU is you can usually spot where the enemy ACU goes and decide where to go instead of having a pre-made plan beforehand. And you can see Yama is going to take full advantage of adjacency. See how much it's negative 3.6, so from 4 and negative 1.2. So basically half a Tech 1 mass extractor advantage while these factories are building. This will go up, of course, once these go to Tech 2. The more build capacity that factory has, and the more of an advantage you're going to have. So eventually one of these, I imagine, will go to Tech 3. Another thing about Yama, it's one player, very good at teching, very good at organizing the base. And really base organization, which consists of where you put your factories as well as where you put your move orders and how you distribute all your different units. But so far Yama playing this very strangely. The ACU is still back home, all the way up to 1,000 reclaim. This is a critical unit right here. Yeah, this match is this is ridiculous. Oh, so lucky. Calvarox. Another Mantis gets taken out. And yeah, this is critical for Yama. If Yama could have taken out that corner, and you can see now the ACU for Calvarox, you see where he went straight up. He's going to try to take this whole bottom corner. So there'll be a battle in this area with the ACU. And given that Calvarox will take these 3 mass extractors, it'll be critical for Yama to grab these 3 as quick as possible. At this point, what he's seeing is a lot of land build capacity up on top, so he can probably assume there isn't too much land in this position, although that's usually difficult to tell. There's also a Tech 2 mass extractor he can see. Calvarox base. And still, this is great from Yama. He's up in the corner, taking what shouldn't really be his. And what I'm guessing is that the Calvarox hasn't really sent too many units to the top from these 4 factories. I think we're going to see that shortly. Yama moving in. 2 fairly large forces. These are, for the most part, Manta, a little anti-air. And yeah, already coming in here with an engineer. And yeah, this is big number advantage. I think this is where Calvarox ACU is going to have to do something. So we know the ACU for Calvarox is there. We haven't seen him too much. And looking back at base, Tech 2 land. Yeah, this doubled the build capacity. So instead of getting a 0.4 bonus, it's now getting a 0.8 bonus from this Tech 2 mask extractor. In the grand scheme of things, it's not actually that big. I mean, you can see total of about 50 income for Yama, so it's about 2% advantage. Here, Yama moving in. It's very nice to see Yama's units. They always have a scout with them, so he's got very nice partitioning organization. This is where I think controlling that Medusa a little more. I think if you would have just sat and shot Medusas, and it looks like he still has the numbers. Finally, some bombers from Yama. These will give a lot of good scouting. And then some PDs. So Calvarox putting up a really nice defensive position in this corner. And yeah, Calvarox actually taking map control, although what we can see here, this is something that Yama can't see, although he probably can assume it because he's been teching like crazy back at home. And one thing to look at, once a player goes to Tech 2, although in the case of Yama, he isn't really mass stalling too much. Sometimes people do pause their Tech 1 land factories while they have their early Tech 2. Haven't really seen that from Yama, but still mostly Manti. A lot of times also what people do once they get Tech 2 is they change the ratio of Manti to Medusas. Haven't seen that. Looks like while we were looking at Yama's base, Yama took over this position. So actually Yama getting map control. And it was that hero engineer that got this base. It's been a big problem. And yeah, some Tech 2 land from Calvarox. And these units, wow, this Medusa was 7 kills, 4 kills. Yeah, major issues for Calvarox all over the place. So far, the Tech 2 forces from Yama, have they really made an impact at all? There aren't any here. This has been all Tech 1. This is all Tech 1. Up on top, it's all Tech 1. This Tech 1 force, I think, is eventually going to die to some Tech 2. So this force going to the top from Yama, he's going to stick to Tech 1 on the bottom. He may choose to take one of these factories to supporting Tech 2 just to get some Tech 2 flak, maybe a Tech 2 engineer. Some cruise missiles from this position always look good. But it does appear that the majority of Yama's freshly built units going to the top. One thing to look at for Yama, he's also invested quite heavily into power. So he's going to have excess 1,000 power unless he does something. So the way to use power is air in his case, unless he wants to do something fancy with ACU, like putting a laser on there. But I think the most obvious thing is to spam some more air factories. And another thing to look at, you can see all these engineers that are assisting factories. 4 engineers is the same as a Tech 1 land factory in terms of build capacity. So you can see you have a little bit of leeway where you put your build capacity. And this is where, when you have this kind of disbalance, I think going Tech to air with all this build capacity, getting Corsairs, would be pretty effective and something you can afford. Otherwise, it's been a fairly big waste. It's not been a problem for Yama. Who's actually been in putting this power into these very expensive Tech 2 shields, so taking away the possibility of a snipe. So he's thinking that this is pretty much his game, but he might as well play it safe and put a lot of things around his ACU. He knows he's got map control, so unless Galvarox has been teching like crazy. He's definitely doesn't have more mass than he does. Some tech to PDs. Whenever you see these, it always makes you happy. You know that somebody's investing quite heavily in one of these 450 mass. It's not going to go anywhere else, and eventually you'll just kill it with superior units. It's just going to get worse with time. And Yama, fairly content at this point not to do anything. I would have loved to see a couple scouts. I don't see any scouts. We're seeing defensive positions being built up. Actually, Yama also investing quite heavily into Tech 2. Some recycling, 2 Tech 2 land factories, 2 Tech 1. The air factories have been reclaimed for some reason. I'm sure that was a mistake. Yama's going to rebuild those. As now we're going to see an assault. This is the Tech 2 versus Tech 1. It's the remnants, actually a couple tanks in there as well. These will retreat. This was actually 4 rhinos in that position. A couple bombers will come in. More like scouts. It's nice to see Tech 2 engineers everywhere for Yama, but playing very defensive. It does look like, in case people watched one of Zap's latest videos where he casted a game between me and Yama and I. Yama is content to play like this, which can lead to some interesting situations where he can show off some of his gameplay, but it's artificially long games, so I will artificially speed it up. Some mobile missile launchers. Yeah, these MMLs, a very good way to deal with people who just sit there with their forces. Just hit them from far away. Some stealth here as well. Very effective. One thing about stealth is that it's a lot cheaper than, say, a shield. And a couple of rhinos sneak in. This stealth, minus 25 mobile shield will cost you either 125 power or 100, depending on some Tech 2 gunship, some key intel. So is there a Tech 2 flak here? From experience, I know Yama always has Tech 2 flak in his forces. Very well placed Tech 2 flaks. And fairly big assault. So this is purely Tech 2 land. So this battle is not obvious for Yama. The effect of that assault, though, is that this force has now been pulled up a little bit, so it's a little bit out of position if it wants to react to the force moving through the middle. So you see a 3-pronged attack. And the key is just to force the other player out of position and attack the weak point. And when you just have this type of standoff, this is where his MMLs. Yeah, Calvarock's really missing out on stealth. If he had stealth here, this would not allow Yama to do what he's doing. Although Yama here getting in a bit of trouble. There was a hole in his radar coverage. Going back, Yama has resource allocation, wasting even more power. Now going Tech 3 air. So yeah, he's probably gonna not go Tech 3 land unless he already has it. It looks like he's going Tech 3 land and Tech 3 air. As yeah, Calvarock's making him pay here. I think a bit of a mistake. This is a superior force. And this is where, if Calvarox drops this position with some engineers, I imagine these are probably NGs, get a lot of good reclaim. So that could make Yama a bit worried, although given that he's got strat bombers, and payback. Ouch. Some big vets getting killed, although I think, and that strat survived. And one thing about Cybern strats, even though they can't kill Tech 2 units in one hit, what they can do for you is fly in and out of radar coverage. I'm actually going to show what that looks like. So you can see you can't even target them unless you have direct visual. You don't know where they are, and that's a very, very frustrating. You just have death come out of nowhere. And yeah, that kind of sucks. There goes Tech 2 power of Calvarox. Yep, and that's game over. Yeah, flag probably wouldn't have helped. Yeah, so what we've seen from Yama, taking really hard the whole time, grabbing map control, maybe a little bit of luck. Here with that engineer up on top really gave him a big advantage. And then with the Spiri map control, he just teched all the way to the resource allocation, got tech 3 air, and used units that couldn't really counter. So 30-minute game. Hopefully people enjoy this. Hello and welcome to Theta. Embers versus Yama. Embers has had many names in the past. Definitely a classic player. I'm sure they still faced each other on Theta before. But I always enjoy this map. If you just look at it in case you haven't seen it before, you haven't looked at it many times, just how spread out the mask structures are. That's really the point. You can, if you deny even a single or two mask structures on this map, it makes a huge difference. You can't sit back and relax back at home, and that's really how you can look at maps. Besides size of the map, water versus land, terrain, things like that, is to look at the distribution of mask structures from your starting position. You have maps that if like fields of ISIS, so I guess that's not the best case, but maybe in this series of videos we'll see a map where it's really a turtle map. This is the complete opposite. First to Angie's from Yama, and actually let's look at this from Ember's point of view. First to land, then tank and the Celine. In case people are wondering, the time to take to get an engineer out is about 13 seconds, same as a tank. RD is a little faster. Scouts are pretty quick. But usually when you're looking at your initial build order from the factory, it's in about 15-second increments. You have your 13 seconds to build a unit, about 2 seconds to roll it off. So in a minute you can expect 4 regular units to come out. And those first 5 are typically critical, because some people do get really crazy and make the first 5 units engineers, but that's usually dangerous. And it's that play between the two players. How many engineers can you make to make a really good eco versus how many offensive and defensive units can you make to screw up the other person who's making too many engineers. Looks like third air from Embers, and watching Embers games, he is really a master of choosing the correct build order. Usually has a very good one for each map. So going third air is fairly aggressive in terms of air, and that could be quite potent, although it could also get him in a bit of trouble. When you go third or second air on a map which is typically dominated by land, sometimes what people do is they take this initial factory, and you can see there aren't too many engineers actually being produced. So far there haven't been any deaths, so you can see a total of 4 NGs, and now first contact. Celine spots it. Not too much micro, but not much that can really be done here by Embers. He should just run away and also protect this engineer. This engineer should not die, just because he gave it a build order and you don't want to cancel that build order. It will get cancelled for you, but you can see Yama here. It's a very potent force, 3 Manta, and you can guess that those 3 Manta were here minute 3. That's a big fraction of the total land units that were produced. So likely there aren't too many aggressive units coming from the other direction. Here comes first bomber. Wow, Jester versus bomber. Looks like second air. Jester takes twice as long as a tank. That's just ridiculous. I think it's this Jester is going to do quite a bit of damage, and Interceptor will come out. I think this Jester would probably be a lot more potent if it wasn't for this third air. But let's see what the bomber can do. So far it's just a scout. There's the Jester for Yama, skilled at least 3 engineers, which is critical. See now what's going to happen to Embers is gonna have way too much power, way too much mass, because he was planning on finishing factories, and of course those engineers themselves were supposed to make units. This is where it's critical to get all your factories going and get some more engineers out after something like this happens to you. So that's when players a lot of times after an assault like this will switch to a lot of flak and NGs. I think in this case maybe flak isn't really necessary given the interceptors. And the bomber now with 2 kills. Third kill. So that bomber, and the second jester is out. Also looks like the ACU for Yama going to the top. So he's going to try to secure the top. He will miss out on all the reclaim in the middle. Embers forced into making a factory with his ACU. And here you can see just how awesome bombers are with their radar. But overall, Yama really taking the map from Embers. Although that bomber from Embers was critical. If it wasn't for that bomber with that much build capacity and this much map control, Yama would really be able to take advantage of it all. But at this point, it's not really obvious, and looks like the 5th land coming out for Embers. A lot of times when people go 3rd air, they plan on making a lot of power, which they can then switch to go and tech 2 land. I want to say a lot of power, not like extra few pigeons. As you can see here, a lot of excess power from Embers. So because this air factory forced into making engineers. Yama giving up this mass in the middle, which is very significant. He is going to have to get quite a bit of mass from this mass extractor, so it'll be critical for him to grab those mexes as soon as possible. So Embers 500. Actually, it looks like he's reclaimed everything here. It's about 500. He hasn't really touched these spots, maybe a little bit here. So it looks like, yeah, this position about 500 mass. His bomber. Be nice for it to take out an engineer. Yeah, this engineer would be a great target. And I will slowly speed this up. Yep, I will deny mass extractor that works for 60 seconds, gets you 100 mass, you can see. Okay, this is critical. Now Embers will move directly through the middle. He's got all of his units next to his ACU, so that here consists of a very powerful force. Oh, and a critical PD here from Yama. 166 DPS, it's 66% more than the ACU. Embers takes a lot of those shots, although I think that PD got quite a few kills, and this is a lot of reclaim. That was a big gift from Embers to Yama. Yama still sticking to his original power arrangement, which means once he's actually got his mass extractors, he will begin to power stall. He needs to throw down a couple more pigeons before he gets a couple more factories. Here, minute 8. Yeah, these engineers are going to get huge reclaim. Looking at Yama, you can see he's got a couple more pigeons than Embers. Actually, it's very similar. Maybe one more pigeon. Actually, well, we can cheat. We can see that Yama has a lot more power, and that means he can use that reclaim quite well. But Embers continues to be very aggressive. 13 kills, 15 kills. I think that's one big difference, is that Yama doesn't actually have that many kills on his ACU. He's going to get a couple now. Maybe that was a bit of a mistake from Embers, just letting his tanks get shot like that. And Tech 2, it looks like Tech 2 land. This is an HQ. This would be a great target if Embers can take that out. Yama did invest a bunch into that PD, but not a lot of defense directly at all, and that HQ is going to die. That's 800 mass wasted. Embers being absolutely brutal with his land assault. I think it was a very bad timing for Yama on that Tech 2 Oh, and he's just gonna quit. If Yama stuck with Tech 1 land with the Manti, I'm quite certain he was in a better position, but this assault from Embers, I'm not really sure if he saw this upgrade. If he saw that upgrade, he continued to push. Perhaps he did, given that he did have air. That was a nice short theater where we could see a single strategic mistake. But of course, it takes a good player to see that and to pounce on it. Hello and welcome to Desert Arena, Jolie versus Yama. And I was very surprised when I looked at the ladder standings to find Jolie right up there, like nearly top 10, which means he's really been playing the ladder quite a lot and being quite successful, actually having a higher rating than Yama. That, yeah, it's quite difficult to get into that category unless you really know how to play this game. You can't really have any major weak points. I know Jolie's strong point is likely long games, and that's something that is also a strong point of Yama. But perhaps I just don't know Jolie too well. Let's see how well these players play this map. So this map, something just popped up in the bed. On this map, the Hydros, something not to neglect. Hydros and Reclaim. Those two things make this a very much a spammy map. Actually, let's look at this again from Yama's point of view. Yama actually, what is this? A second air, a gesture. Actually, this is bringing back memories. I know Cyber players love second air on this map because the gesture, it's cutting off these expansion. You can see 8 expansions. If you can deny your enemy going to the Hydras, getting all this extra reclaim, you can deny quite a bit because it's not just these mass spot, it's also this extra rocks that your reclaiming engineers don't have to fight for. Aggressive hunters. So Yama with a very aggressive build, straight to a gesture. And a couple more land factors. The ACU also sitting back at base for a long time. That could be a weakness. And what do these hunters see? So far they don't see much. Up there they know that ACU is there, so that's, and they don't kill anything. All they saw was an ACU. Otherwise they didn't get much. But now this gesture is going to come out. Be curious to see how Jolie reacts to it. I'm actually going to look at this and see exactly what is going to be targeted by Yama. He goes straight after the engineers. Definitely the best thing to do. This map, a map that's definitely limited by power and build capacity. You should never have any mass problems here. So taking out the build capacity takes 13 seconds to build with each one of these factories. So it's taking somebody back in time when you take away their build capacity. Some flak now, yeah, that's forcing enemy to make flak is always nice. And now this gesture isn't done, it's going to be denying. Oh, that's some critical intel. I did see another gesture somewhere. It hasn't been doing anything. But of course now when you go with second air, you're going to have less land. So Jolie needs to use his land advantage to come in and begin denying units. And you can see Yama aggressively going after these Hydros. PD is going to be put up, at least one. Yeah, this is the third Hydro, but it's going to be faced. This is great for Yama. He just gets a bunch of vet for his ACU, and you can see he can put up a couple Manti to play defense against the Thams that try to sneak through. It's nice to have all those extra wrecks from the Thams, although it's not that big a deal. So far it's been 100% gestures. Haven't seen any air yet from Jolie. It'll be curious to see if he decides to go with flak. Well, that's definitely a lot of flak, not where you want to fly. Well, that gesture survives barely. Flag comes by. Yeah, the only reason not to go air is if you feel like you're limited on power. So Yama without assault. Looking at the stats up here, I think Jolie didn't really lose too much, although he continues to be kind of abused here. And that assault from Jolie actually did deny the second Hydro. This Hydra has not been completed. And now Manti are facing the superior numbers. But we got to note that this force looks big, but a lot of it is flak, so it can't shoot back. Although you can always use that flak to send it up ahead, take some shots. Bombers now coming in from Yama. And we got to see at what point will Yama go to Tech 2 land. It looks like a major land spam from Jolie. Although some critical PDs. This would be a major target for Jolie if you can take out this PD. Take out that Hydra. We see Artie on the case. Yama will fight to try to take out the Arties, but they do finish the job. The ACU for Yama will not go down to the bottom, play some defense. This will open up the top. I'm willing to bet this is the ACU from Jolie, although it's not 100%, but likely is. In any case, the ACU for Jolie should be here and could have an easy shot as soon as Jolie realizes that Yama's ACU is on the other side. And Jolie definitely realizes that because he's got air over Yama's base. Yama, what is he getting? Not clear. Oh, I was wrong. That was an engineer that did finish a PD. Curious that Jolie's ACU is not being very aggressive. Makes me think maybe he's getting an upgrade, something like the gun. Yama, did he finish his upgrade? No, he's got stealth. So far, 3 expansions. I'm assuming that expansion's taken. This corner expansion definitely doesn't belong to Jolie. I don't think this expansion belongs to Jolie either, although it's hard to tell given that the major power problems that Yama's having right now. I'm not really sure why this is. Is he getting another upgrade? Yeah, he's now getting the gun. Now the ACU for Jolie attempted to take... Yeah, Jolie does not have the upgrade, but he's taking the top expansion, so Jolie is in the position to take map control. But I think once Yama finishes this upgrade, he's going to get his radar back, and I think he might be able to make a push toward this position. This is where if... Oh wow, look at all this tech too. This is where a couple T2 PDs in this position could really stop his ACU. Up on top, I think with the ACU, Jolie should have the top corner until Yama gets tech 2. I don't think he'll be able to move that back. And Jolie is ahead here with the tech. It's absolutely critical for Yama to take this back. Looking at upgrades, I don't think, yeah, there are some upgrades now beginning for Yama. And Yama, gun plus stealth, very potent. And already flying back and forth. Jolie, is he getting an upgrade? Nope, he's just getting vet. There's a bit of a waste of units there from Yama. No way that he'll be able to do anything here. Jolie will just collect his veterancy, although Jolie choosing to retreat, playing it very safe. As Yama 39 kills, this is definitely a very potent weapon. So Yama successfully takes over the bottom left corner. He's got engineers that are coming down. So we once again have parity in terms of map control. Although look at this, a lot of upgrading has taken place in Jolie's base, at least 3 tech to mass extractors. As Jolie now will counterattack and he'll take the top. Yeah, this has been a major counterattack now from Jolie. Tech to land coming out. See rhinos and a bit of a mass stall from Yama. As Ilshavas also making it on the field. Need to be overcharged. Look at all this power storage from Yama, so he can overcharge all day. Although now these Ilshavas, yeah, Ilshava definitely something you don't want to mess with. Although this map is fairly flat, so oh, look at all the particles. 66 kills, a couple overcharges. Yeah, these elite units here stuck against a even better unit. Yama with stealth, abusing the overcharge. Oh man, that was very sad to see. Tech 2 PDs being put up. Yeah, Yama just got a lot of huge kills on the bottom. It's one of the reasons to get the gun on your ACU. You really do counter tech to land quite nicely. Although this is very risky to play. For example, if there were tech to air or something like that, very vulnerable to a snipe. Also very vulnerable to a stupid mistake like a move order and then forgetting to move your ACU back. And here Yama actually a critical piece of vet. Retreats and T2PDs in two groups from Yama. T2PD creep. Critical positions. Yama 99 kills. He's 5 vet. He's got a total of 1500 health. It's as much as he can get without getting some engineering. Some dancing from Yama. And he will survive, I think. Oh, 200. A couple shots. I think the Ilsheva, the DPS on Ilsheva is over 100, something like 116. So an Ilsheva shooting at this ACU for like 2-3 seconds would have ended the game. Although I can imagine there have been a lot of Ilshevas killed by the ACU. The ACU for Yama should think about the Tech 2 engineering upgrade. That gun definitely did its thing. Some anti-air now. Yeah, and this is also where a single Tech 2 bomber or even a couple Tech 1 bombers could have ended the game for Yama. So Yama taking a risk, but it has paid off. A lot of reclaim here. And now without the ACU, these Siren units aren't really able to stay up with the Ilsheva. Ilsheva Zuthi combination, very powerful. So far you can see the reclamation after 16 minutes, 25,000. Up on the top. This PD here, this Tech 2 PD, it's very, very weak. Only 100 DPS. T1 PD has more DPS. The difference is the range. But of course, it will take care of RD and things like that. And this could be dangerous now for Jolie's ACU. He's got the gun and Tech 2. So yeah, you definitely don't want to take on that ACU unless you got a really big force with you. 112 kills. Yama is not done. He's regenerated his health a little bit, though still fairly vulnerable. And Jolie with map control. He does have that top corner, very powerful ACU, holding on some T2PDs there as well. This bottom corner has been, has been very much contested. I think the reclaim has belonged to Yama, but Yama hasn't been able to take these mass extractors. Some stealth fields now together with Yama. And here, this is a very big defensive position from Jolie, a shield and T2PDs. So until you get a lot of MMLs, and up on top, Jolie. It's Jolie's turn to get some vet. Hoplites from Yama. This T2PD creep anticipating some MMLs. And looking back at the base, these Tech 1 factories, it's basically a Medusa spam. And only 3 or 4 Tech 2 factories. So for the most part, a lot of the mass is going into the Medusas. Also quite a bit of mass is going into these T2PDs. And Yama really playing with fire here. I would not want to suddenly find myself getting shot by a bunch of T2PDs and Ilshevas. And now this looks like a hole that's been found by Yama. This is a strong position, this strong position, so Yama goes right in between. He has the potential to kill some units, although now I see Jolie's ACU moves to play defense. This does open up the top. A good move from Yama. Yama will continue and see how far he gets. He will see some very nasty units. Tech 3 mass extractor, damn. Jolie really upgrading quite a bit. You only see Tech 2s here in the back. Tech 3 land being upgraded by Yama. So Yama with this move left a whole bunch of reclaim. This did allow him to take the top corner, which will give quite a bit of reclaim for Yama. And see what Jolie decides to do with his ACU. Units still alive, these hoplites, yeah, in close proximity. No hope. This engineer, I think, is gonna die. Unless this is... you can see the the range. Yeah, perfect placement of that T2PD just outside the range of the enemy T2PD as Yama's back to nearly full health. Sneaking in some Medusas. These are T2PDs and really nothing to defend them except units and a Tech 1 PD. There are some MMLs here which have the potential to do damage. So what we see is map control for Yama, now sitting on 37,000 reclaim, but we do see Tech 3 mass extractors for Jolie, so Jolie still with a slight advantage in terms of mass. Yama continues to be very adventurous on the top front line. And I think this is I would have already lost my ACU playing like that because I would have been staring at something else. And now Trebuchet is coming out. The first units, I don't see any bricks at all. This looks like straight to Tech 3 Arty. Tech 3 Arty on a small map like that, very devastating. We also see Tech 3 Arty now from Jolie, so both players are at the Tech 3 land stage. So these T2PDs that Yama's built up, those are going to go away here unless Yama can counter with the Arty of his own. But given the Seraphim shield, this is a huge advantage to Seraphim in a battle like this. Yama retreating, you see. Seraphim Arty, huge splash. But of course Trebuchet has the biggest splash. And this is mostly Medusas. They're going to get ripped to shreds here. I'm not really sure what this assault is about. Maybe he's just, Yama is just spotting these units for his trebuchets. You can see he's spread them out. And not a lot of direct fire now left for Yama. He's got these trebuchets, a couple of these Tech 1 PDs, his ACU. But you need a lot of direct fire to deal with the Ilsheva, even though it's Tech 3 stage. Ilsheva is extremely powerful, so still trebuchets. Love to see a couple of bricks.
Commander under attack.
Oh, and now these trebuchets right next to each other, no kills. They're getting hit by Arty. If you don't have shields around your Arty and your enemy does, you're going to lose the Arty battle. So it really doesn't look good in this position. You see these Arties continue to die. A lot of potential reclaim, thousands of mass just sitting there. On the other side where the shields, or Jolie didn't have any shields, there's a little more success. And this was a push from Yama. So Yama on map control is denied yet another expansion. But what Jolie has is very well protected. Yama, I mean, this is Tech 3 stage. Okay, that was that last move order there. It was very dangerous, and you can see that Jolie is in pursuit. And there are Tech 3 tanks, so it'll be critical to overcharge them. But every time you overcharge, you slow down. There are also a lot of Ilshevas, but I think those Ilshevas, instead of assaulting the ACU, they're assaulting something else. Yama, I think, still could be in a bit of trouble. 149 kills. Bricks now, finally. Yeah, that brick will provide a lot of necessary direct fire. Yama, 153 kills. A lot of them Tech 2 retreats. Retreats, and then he's going to come back to the front line in a zigzag pattern. So given that bricks were forced out, there's only one trebuchet left. Meanwhile, the Arties for Jolie continue to fire. Reclamation up on top. And Jolie, he's got yet another Tech 3 mask extractor. He's got at least 3 of those. Look at the scout. This is so much firepower right there underneath the Seraphim shield. And a lot of potential reclaim here, which I don't know if Yama's going to be able to do anything. And can't forget the mobile Tech 3 shield. In direct fire, the Otham is known to be relatively weak, but in battles like this, Seraphim are actually quite good. Can't forget about the shields, can't forget about the sniper, which would be a great unit against an adventurous ACU like that. Bricks now for Yama. He's now at 6 bricks. Might be thinking about just a direct assault. If he moves in with the bricks, knocks down the shields, maybe he can switch to some arty as Jolie's ACU. Doing some damage. The bricks rolling in, a brick dies, still 4 bricks left. Some Othams now, in close range the Otham can definitely deal with the brick. If the brick doesn't use its range, it's critical to kill the shield. So the shields are down, however, I don't see any arty, so this is... yeah, look, the arty retreated, now stopped, and now beginning to fire once again. The ACU for Yama getting some juicy reclaim on the front lines. Looks like this map has been very much cleaned up. No tech to air. Perhaps some tech to air from Jolie. Doesn't look like it.
Commander under attack.
Looking on some overcharges on tech 3 units. Looks like Yama has recycled a lot of his factories. Switching to Tech 2, Tech 3, couple supporting Tech 3 factories. The Tech 2 factories making MMLs. It's always nice in these battles to provide a little more direct fire on the shields.
Commander under attack.
Yama continues to play this game with his ACU. And I think perhaps this is where Jolie can choose to... his ACU hasn't really done much except retreat. If he decided to come in here and help his units with his ACU is much more powerful than Yama's.
Commander under attack.
Jolie, 138, 139 mass. Are any of these Tech 3 mass extractors? I don't...
Commander
yeah,
under
there's
attack.
one. Oh, and now, oh, Yama. Death by Tech 3 arty. Yeah, that's what will happen to you. Alright, so Yama kind of forced into using his ACU, and we've seen here where Seraphim is really powerful at Tech 3. They're really not known for their Tech 3 land, but in these arty battles, very strong, and nice to see Jolie getting the kill with Tech 3 arty. So hopefully people enjoyed it. Awesome. Alright. So in this video, I decided to throw in a couple games where I play, because instead of casting, I'd rather play. Since we have Zap, I think I may even cast a lot less here in the near future. Ah, yeah. BRSDC. So I'm probably going to suck since I'm casting. It's my current excuse for not playing well. But we'll see. He's got Aeon. I have speed in terms of tanks. But in direct confrontation, especially against... oh, sorry, that's not DC, that's Destructor. Oh, that makes my life a lot easier, I think. Still, it's a good player. See how much of this mass I can grab with the early Engie. Yeah, this map, initially it's the mass in the middle, then it's the map control. You want to grab one of these. This is where drops come in. There's of course the close Hydra, some reclaim. Second, third air is fairly critical. I can expect to get bomb. Usually you want to both players bomb each other. And yeah, given how spread out the mass extractors here are, those bombs are definitely worth it. See, I usually, given how much mass there is, I build a whole bunch of power. Also here I want to spread the engineers a little bit. And early with the Manta, since it's so quick, it will kill any light assault bots. And yeah, I think it's a big advantage for Cybern. Wish I had made a mistake with my scout. Yeah, these 4 mask extractors critical. You want an early engineer to get those. It's also on the radar. Gotta see if any light assault bots coming in. But it doesn't look like much was coming in, so I'm going to go ahead, go around. Yeah, build a whole bunch. Yeah, looks like Destructor decided to sit back and make mask extractors instead of grabbing this reclaim. See at what point he'll actually move in here. Go early bomber. And I'll put the move order somewhere there. Yeah, I think the way he's played this is not very good. Unless he's got something up his sleeve, I should have a big advantage. This scout, you can see how critical it is. So I'm going to go grab that, run away, hopefully get a foothold as I get my scout out there. And also I know nothing's coming in here unless he snuck that in very early. I see an airplane, means I want to cancel all that. Definitely want to get that as well. And only 2 engineers on the power. I may even get a couple more. I want to deny that. I may even just leave this scout right there and turn it off. -5, I think I can afford it. Perfect. So you can put the scout up here. Probably don't even need to turn that one off. So I have my Manti, making sure that nothing sneaks in. Now suddenly I'm going a little low on mass. That's because gotta do a little more reclaiming. Oh dang! Well, that's always a good to see. So given that I just remembered I'm facing Aeon, I probably want to go Tech 2 land here fairly quick. Kill that. Yeah, he didn't even pick those up yet. What are you bombing, dude? I think I don't really need to go Tech 2 land, given that I'm gonna have big numbers. I don't need to just take off the pressure here for no reason. But I definitely need some radar in the middle. Alright, there's the ECU. And maybe a couple more Medusas. You don't need to make that last one. And which factory is gonna go Tech 2? Got a little too much power now. Gotta get some power storage. Perfect. That's a little bit of a bonus there. Usually don't get that. So since I have that much power, I'm gonna make another air factory.
Commander under attack.
Okay, I'm gonna have to be a little careful. So if he follows me, then he won't be kiting. Maybe if he follows those all the way, I can trap his ACU. Oh, what is this? Okay, yeah, his ACU is screwed. So here, this is where the radar that I have is so nice. If he follows, then I just take his ACU out. If he tries to save his ACU, then I go ahead and assault.
Commander under attack.
So I'll try to block him in.
Commander under attack.
That's why the Aurora sucks in certain situations. Like, it's very slow.
Commander under attack.
Alright, yeah, this is radar is fairly critical. Didn't really need to go Tech 3 land here. But just giving me all that mass from the middle, it really put him at a big disadvantage. So you get another ladder game. What is this? We switch spots. But now I'm EF, he's Aeon still. I'll try to play this one differently. It's in general a bad practice to play something differently that you've just won, but I think I can afford to do that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So I want to get quite a few engineers early on. I'm going to use that reclaim, maybe give him the middle mass, but still get a superior eco, and then go quickly to Tech 2 and get the mongoose to kite the Aurora. Yeah. That's why I want my 4 engineers. I'm actually going to take this engineer and have him reclaim that. The other one's going to assist this engineer, and the other one's going to go and grab those. And grab the expansion. And then I have my scout tank, and that'll give me a little bit of intel I don't want to just give away. Well, if he's actually just moving in with an engineer, he'll probably steal all the mass. Nothing that I can do about it. Yeah, this is where it's critical to get this engineer up here. Get that mass, otherwise I would be stalling. So it's 4 P-gens. Given that I'm going to get that Hydra, the power should work out quite nicely. Make sure nothing sneaks into that. That's always very annoying. See if I can grab all that. Although, if he's very late to the middle again, I might just go ahead and take that mass. And we'll try to suppress air. No bombers. I'll put a factory up top. A couple factories. I'll probably go Tech 2 with this one. Suddenly I'm going low on mass. This is where this second engineer is probably not necessary. I'm gonna have a lot of build capacity on that factory. Alright, good. Sneak in the tank. It's as if he doesn't really know about the reclaim in the middle. Yeah, that's gonna make it difficult. Not sure what that is, probably an engineer. Don't want to kill that. And I think it's time to go to Tech 2. Forced a bit of flak. Looks like I killed something. It's a Destructor getting some of this reclaim. Critical Raider in the middle. I'll switch this to a couple more engines. I'll put a couple on a transport. Make sure I deny that. And against AN, it's always good to make them run in different directions with their tanks because it takes such a long time for them to recover. And also, of course, avoid the ACU no matter who you are. Alright, sweet, I got Mongoose. Which probably means I can go ahead and start killing things. And switch this one to a little more arty.
Commander under attack.
Bomber needs to die. Drop directly on that spot. And with that transport, given that I have Tech 2, dropping off a couple Mongoose here in the back would probably be good. I think it's time to go ahead and kill the ACU.
Commander under attack.
That's factory, want to deny that.
Commander under attack. Commander under attack.
Yeah, it's Destructor isn't a bad player. It's just he doesn't seem to care about the metal mass, and that's I think that made his life a lot more difficult than it probably should have been. Although maybe he'll make it interesting here at the end. Yeah, he definitely has overcharge. But yeah, a couple tech to mass extractors. Desperately need radar up front. Yeah, now with a new radar, I can go ahead and continue to move in. So he's getting some upgrade. Go ahead and just attack him during the upgrade since he can't dodge.
Commander under attack.
Yeah, against Aeon Tech to land, dominates. Alright. No, I'm not mad.